Download our app today and enjoy tackle-busting benefits with great odds, more markets and same-game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.
Hello and welcome to episode 433 of Fergo and the Freak. I'm that bloke from Rugby League Project, Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. And join me as always is the glorious League Freak. You can also find on Twitter at League Freak. How you going there, mate?
I'm going very well, Andrew Ferguson. How are you?
I'm spiffing.
Excellent. I've been there. We've got a different episode today, and it's one that we've kind of done versions of in the past, but this one is very focused, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and look, according to the website, it's only going to take 10 to 15 minutes. So there goes your lunch break.
Yes. Strap in for the next 3.5 hours, people.
We've got you covered. This is the IMG RFL Super League survey, fan survey. The RFL Super League and their strategic partner IMG, I don't know who they are.
It's a big sports management company. Well, they're not just sports management, but they manage all sorts of things.
Is this the new entity that took over Super League recently?
Yeah.
Right, okay. They're carrying out a detailed analysis on the state of rugby league to help identify areas for change and growth over the next 12 years. Oh, IMG, strap yourself in.
Yeah, this is going to be... Can you imagine some of the weird answers they got to these questions from people? They're going to be so confused by the time they get these questions, but they should just listen to our podcast because we know what's best for English Rugby League.
That's right. And look, the people who are going to be getting... going to be answering this again, just going to be whinging about stuff that's specific to their tiny little club only. Yeah,
exactly. They'll be like, well, the entire league should be structured around East Hull. It's like, shut up.
Yeah. We need more money at Lee Sports Village.
Yeah.
As part of this, and to help us shape the future of the sport in the best possible way, we want to hear from people interested in rugby league. You should only take 10 to 15 minutes of your time. Varies depending on your answers, as some questions have related follow-up questions. Oh, we love those.
Ooh.
I'm clicking the start button.
Okay, here we go.
Let's get into it. What country do you live in?
The greatest country in the world, Australia.
Should we say Australia or United Kingdom?
Say Australia.
I was going to say, do you reckon, though, they'll just go, if it doesn't say United Kingdom, we'll just delete it?
Well, that's a good question, hey?
Maybe just end it at here. Thank you for taking part of this survey.
Yeah. All right, let's for this case, let's put in United Kingdom.
Okay. Done. What county do you live in?
Let's pick a weird one. Let's pick
How about Kirkcudbrightshire?
Is that a county, is it?
Yes.
Wow. What about there's got to be some sort of county in Wales that's like called.
There's one Merthyr Tydfil.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm going to go with them because they actually played against the Kangaroos in 1908. What is your nationality? We can say we're Australian here. There's British, Irish, Fijian, French, New Zealander, Samoan, or Tonga. You can't be Scottish or Welsh.
You can't be Scottish or Welsh. Are you serious?
You've got to be, if you're Scottish or Welsh, you just have to be British.
Why don't we say we're
or other?
Let's be others.
Okay. What are we going to do with other?
Okay.
What nationality should we be? We've got to specify what other is.
Oh well, if we're not British or Australian and we're in England, obviously we're Polish, aren't we?
Done. Polish.
Done. Excellent.
How would you best describe your gender? Remember when this used to be two options?
Yeah. I'd describe, I don't know about you, I'd describe my gender as girthy.
Girthy? I'll go with prefer not to say. What is your age? Well, you're 52 and I'm 48, so we're going to this.
Fuck you, asshole.
Are you a parent or guardian? Yeah.
I don't know. What would we put for that? Let's say yes.
Thing is, I've got two children. They fit under two different categories, so I don't know what to put on.
let's say that we're mums with kids.
Mums with kids.
Yeah.
We'll go with 3 to 5 years old. That doesn't cover any of my kids.
That allows them to think, okay, these people, they've got young children, right, that they can probably palm off to somebody when they want to go to games.
Exactly.
But their kids aren't necessarily old enough to influence how they, how they go to football games. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Like, if you're a Hull KR fan, you just chuck your kid the lighter and the spoons and you go to the game.
As you do. I was taking a drink then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was trying to leave. The other say, do you follow any of the following sports?
Okay.
Football in brackets or soccer. It should be the other way around. Soccer or football.
Yeah.
Rugby union.
No.
Cricket. And none of the above.
Do they have none of the above there?
Yeah, none of the above's listed.
Really? They just think that there's like 5 sports in all of the UK, huh?
Well, I think there's soccer, rugby union, cricket, and rugby league.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
They must see them as their biggest competitors.
I guess, yeah.
Mm.
I would have thought that they would have wanted to know if people like were interested in, like, say, I don't know, what other sports do they play in the UK?
Darts.
That's not a sport.
Snooker.
That's not a sport.
Pool.
That's not a sport.
Come on, we've done all the big ones.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about.
That's about it, isn't it?
I think so. I know they do. Remember when motocross used to be big?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Whippet racing?
Hey?
Whippet racing?
Whippet racing. I do the steeplechase still.
Mm.
Do you subscribe or have access to the following platforms? Now TV. It's got the options are subscribe, have access to, or no subscription and no access.
Okay.
So Now TV, I don't know what it is. Sky Sports.
Let's say yes for Sky Sports.
Yeah. DAZN.
I think that's that might be a derivative of ESPN from memory.
Oh, right.
I think it's supposed to be DAZN is the way that you're supposed to say it.
Oh,
but
to me it looks like DAZN.
Yeah. No, that's because you're a normal human being.
I thought maybe because I was bogan. Premier Sports. We want to watch France play, so we'll get that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
BT Sports. We're pinching that off the neighbour. Amazon Prime Video. Yeah, we also got someone.
Yeah, we watch The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Thinking about rugby league. Okay. Which of the following statements most applies to you?
Ooh.
I am a committed rugby league fan. I enjoy rugby league, but wouldn't describe myself as a committed fan. I am a general sports fan. Geez, that second one's wordy.
Well, yeah, but like, who is like doing this survey if they're not a committed rugby league fan? Like, if you are doing this survey and you've just, barely a rugby league fan, you're kind of an arsehole, aren't you?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So you come in here and this is basically saying, this is like the warm-up question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, let's get you into the mode now. We've asked all the stupid other crap. Now let's get into the mode. We're asking questions now.
We know what genitals you have. We know what TV you have. That's the important things out the way. Now let's go on to the rest of it.
We know what TV stuff you're pinching.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've said you've got access to it, but you don't subscribe.
Yeah.
They've probably got and dubbed us into the cops already.
Somebody's already coming around looking for our TV for the TV license bullshit.
It's okay. I'm in Merthyr Tydfil. You'll find me. Keep looking. Just keep knocking on doors. Do you play, coach, or volunteer at a community rugby league club? Coach, play, volunteer, none of the above.
Let's say no, right?
No. Okay.
Because my understanding of the way that Poms think about it is that they call themselves rugby league players even if they play like down at the local park.
Yeah, once.
Like I come across a lot of that in my time where it's like, oh, I'm a rugby league player. It's like, oh, really? Who do you play for? And they're like, fucking Thado Heath. It's like, fuck off. You're not a rugby league player. You're a goddamn fucking Bricky's Labour, you dickhead.
Yes. Do your children play rugby league?
Not yet, because they're too young, hey?
Yeah, they're only 3. Just fucking ease up. All
Yeah,
right? Pump the
chill.
brakes will get my kids into rugby league. They've just learned how to walk about a year and a half ago.
Exactly. They're not ready for their fucking steroid cycle yet, you bastards.
Fucking steady up.
You know, if they were going to get into British Rugby League, I'd teach them how to do lines of coke first. Fuck.
3's just too young to start that process. They're going to be at least 5.
Yeah, they start, using the coke to draw fucking trains and shit, and it's like, calm down. Just lines of it. Like the choo-choo train tracks. Jeez, how many times do I have to teach her?
Oh, it's a hard job.
It really is.
Why do your children not play rugby league?
Because they fucking mess the coke nut. Let's say they're too young.
No local club in my area. No girls team in my area.
Mm-hmm.
My children are too young to play rugby league. No limited contact option like touch or tag. I do not want them to play contact sport. Anyone answers that, completely delete the rest of their questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
My children are not interested in playing rugby league. I haven't introduced them to rugby league yet. Yeah, we're going with too young.
Too young, yeah.
Which of the following leagues do you follow / have an interest in? Super League, Championship, League One, Women's Super League, Wheelchair Super League, NRL, NRLW, none of the above.
Okay, let's try and do it on a probably the most likely scale that most people will answer with, which would be Super League. And
what you can do is you can just select a bunch of them. So you're not putting them in order.
Yeah. That's what I'm
just select a bunch.
So do Super League, NRL, and probably Championship for
okay.
England. Yeah.
You don't want to watch League One?
I really don't.
You're missing out.
I know.
How about the NRLW or the Women's Super League?
Well, I would be shocked if there's too many people in England watching the NRLW, right? And I don't know about the Women's Super League. I don't know what their numbers are like, to be honest with you.
Yeah, neither do I. How do you interact with each of the following leagues? So Super League and Championship. Watch on TV. Is that a tick for those? Yeah, you can select multiple. So watch them on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Watch using a subscription service. We'll tick that.
Have to do that, yeah.
Via sports news websites such as Sky Sports. Sure.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Via social media.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
They're all on social media.
Do you know, though, that Sky Sports doesn't let Australians watch the Super League highlights on their Twitter feed?
Is that so?
Yeah, so I blocked them.
Oh, see, that's not an issue for me. I'm in Merthyr Tydfil.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
You'll be able to pull out your phone and watch the latest tries in Super League while you're watching the sheep at the window,
That's the one. I was wondering where you're going with the sheep. There's a bit of a pause there. I was going, oh, no.
No, I'm not saying that people that live in Wales fuck sheep. I wouldn't say something like that, Andrew.
That's good.
They do, though.
Which of the following teams do you support?
Ooh,
Rugby league teams in Super League. Which Super League team do you support? KR?
No, because we live in Wales.
Well, we're not going to go for an English team, so we'll probably go for Catalan.
You reckon? Would people in Wales have an affinity for a French rugby league team?
I don't know. Do the people of Wales like England?
Do they like Wales?
Well, there's no Welsh team to pick, so you don't need to answer that one.
There you go. What happened to fucking Wrexham?
Wrexham, yeah. Poor old Wrexham.
Well, I don't know. You pick one. Because I've got too many hang-ups about Super League teams.
I'm going Catalan.
Okay.
And Championship. Oh, but you got to pick one here. I've done one already.
Fucking okay. Championship. I'm going to go London Broncos.
I was going to go through the options for. We'll go London Broncos. Okay.
Yeah.
We're flying through this. I'm worried. Do you support a national team? Oh, yeah.
Of course.
I'm looking forward to where this leads up.
Well, there's only one team that a person in Wales could follow, and that's England Knights.
What national team do you support? There's a few in here that aren't in the World Cup.
Oh, really? Like who?
So we've got who aren't in the World Cup? Brazil.
Yep. Okay, yep.
Canada.
Yep.
I don't think they're in the World Cup. Can't remember.
No, they're not.
Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's also Wales, USA, Tonga, all the other usual ones.
Nui isn't there?
No, Niue's not there.
Ah, damn it.
Jamaica's there.
Yeah.
Greece.
Well, we're supposed to be Polish. Who would a Polish person support?
We're a Welsh living Polish person.
Yeah.
There's too many complexities within this human already.
We're the most interesting people in Wales, let's face it.
And deployed.
Yeah. let's go for France. How about that?
Okay. It ties in well with our love for Catalan.
Yeah.
How often do you watch Super League matches on TV during the season?
Let's say every weekend.
More than one game per round? One game per round? Monthly? Less often or neither?
More than one game per round. Let's make it sound like we're hardcore.
We're hardcore.
Yeah.
Thinking about digital platforms, how do you follow your club or the RFL Super League? And there's the Our League website, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, other.
Let's go Twitter and Facebook. Can we pick two?
Yeah.
Okay,
done. Are you a member of Our League?
No.
Yes, I am.
Why? What's Our League?
It's a website week that the English have got, and they sometimes stream some of their international games on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's probably why somebody that calls themselves League Freak and wants to watch every international game has never fucking heard about it because it's so well advertised.
Yeah. I think when they played France last year or the year before, I think they arranged it at a very late notice, and they didn't give any broadcasters a chance to create a slot for it. So they put it up and they charged people to watch it. I think they might have only charged them like £2 or something like that.
Yeah, and they fucked it up. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a member. Love it. Are you a member or season ticket holder of a club? No member,
No.
Season ticket holder.
No, nothing.
Just no?
No.
We're not that diehard. You're not having the money.
Well, we're Polish, so we're obviously truck drivers.
How many times have you been to a paid... Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. How many times have you been to a paid rugby league game this year?
A paid rugby league game?
I assume that means how many times have you paid to go to a rugby league game this year? None. 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 plus.
Let's say... What was the one after 1?
1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 plus.
Let's do 1 to 3.
Yeah, France is a long way to travel from Wales.
It really is, and then
you got to you got to start off with a horse and cart.
Yeah,
to get to England.
You got it. Well, the thing you got to remember is when you're in Wales, right? You get up on the morning, and you've got to start in like 1787, and then go all the way into 2022.
Yeah, it's a long evolutionary journey.
It is. It really is.
What do you like most about rugby league? Here we go.
So we can just write whatever?
Well, we can under the other, please specify. They've got a few options there, though.
Okay.
The TV broadcast.
Who the fuck... Why would anybody put that?
That's the top of the list.
Only a fucking TV person would think that that's the first thing you want.
Being part of my club's community.
No way.
The speed and physicality of the game.
Well, that's not a bad one.
Yeah, we'll give that one a tick.
Okay.
The match day experience. That gets a tick then.
You reckon?
Yeah. You gave it a noise, but not a disapproving one.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
Here's one that's open to interpretation. The tribalism of the clubs.
Oh, You mean all of the insular shit that's kept it in Northern England? Yeah, that's wonderful, that shit. Bunch of fucking dickheads pretending their suburb is the best one. Yeah, I love that shit.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I love the tribalism of the clubs like the Huddersfield Sheffield Giants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the tribalism that they threw away for coin in 1996.
I love it when fucking Outer Wigan gets all upset at the real Wigan club. You know, Outer Wigan, St Helens.
Yes.
And they talk about, oh, we own our own stadium. We've even got a fucking big statue out the front of some hefty woman. Big, busty woman. But anyway.
She's a good looking lady.
She's got a set on her.
Oh, dear.
I tell you what, there's a lot of bronze went into that statue. A lot of bronze. That statue must cost...
in one key area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And around those big titties.
And we've got here other, please specify. I mean, we could put statues on there, couldn't we?
Yeah. Let's put the busty statue out front of, what's it called? Totally Wicked Stadium?
Totally Wicked, that's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh dear, this is good.
You say I shelter under it. I'll shelter under its boobs when it rains.
Yeah. You got to make sure you're either left or right. You can only be in the middle, you still get wet.
Yeah. You go too far out, you start getting the runoff from the nipples.
Oh, you can't have that.
Nah.
Can't have that.
Terrible.
Oh, that's bad. Let's see. Outside, what was it? Totally Wicked.
Yeah.
Totally Wicked Stadium. I know you said Busty. I went with Buxom.
Buxom, yeah, Buxom's fine.
Sounds a bit classier.
Okay.
What do you dislike most about rugby league?
Let's.
Oh, jeez. That little text box is a bit small.
Yeah. Can we say
English on? So they've got a few options here. Okay, they've got the on-field standard of professional rugby league.
Tick.
The cost of attending rugby league. That's a tick. The match day experience attending matches. The standard of rugby league refereeing and disciplinary process.
Don't tick that one.
No.
Don't tick that one.
The TV broadcast.
I think that probably draws in more people. But
okay, so we'll leave it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Frequent changes to rugby league laws. Tick, 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 fucking tick.
Yes, tick, yes.
Anything else?
I would say the confined geographical nature of the game.
Yeah. Let's go. They're not so super geographical.
Spread.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking of the statue again. I think it was when you said spread. Spread.
It's got its own gravity.
Super League clubs in England. Yeah. Let's get specific with that.
Yeah.
To what extent do you agree, disagree with the following statements? Ooh, there's quite a few.
Okay.
So we've got strongly agree, boring, cowardly, fence sitter, disagree, and strongly disagree.
Okay.
There are too many Super League fixtures.
Agree. Strongly. Very strongly.
Yep. In the regular league season, clubs should only play home and away fixtures, and there should not be additional loop fixtures. I didn't know they were called loop fixtures. That's where sides play each other a third time in the regular season. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree, yeah.
Magic round is an important component of the rugby league calendar.
I don't think it is, personally. What do you think?
We'll go with mild disagree.
Okay.
It's probably got a small amount of worth for marketing purposes, but I doubt it's much.
Yeah, in England especially, I guess.
Promotion relegation should remain in Super League. Is there one pass strongly disagree?
Exactly. Strongly disagree.
Fuck that off. Rugby League should grow the game further in areas outside of the traditional heartlands in the north. Strongly agree.
Yes.
Clubs from France should participate in Super League. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
It is not easy to buy tickets to attend rugby league games.
I would disagree with that. I think it's probably easy.
We don't quite have the internet yet in Wales. I mean, I've had to go to a library just across the border to do this.
That's a good point. I mean, in between driving the truck and watching the sheep trying to escape people, it does take time to get them tickets.
It does, yeah. Tickets are affordably priced for attending my club's home fixtures.
I've got no idea. How much do Super League tickets cost?
Let's see if we can find out how much a Super League ticket costs.
Yeah.
Which team should we go check out?
Go check out Hull FC. You're always going to get a ticket for an Hull FC fixture.
I was going to go check out Salford Red Devils.
Oh, yeah, you could do that.
But we're at the Hull FC website now. We'll go there.
Okay.
Right. Here's a test of their website ability. How quick and easy is it to buy a ticket? Here we go. Buy tickets right at the top. Lovely. Official online ticketing. Okay. Tickets. Home games. Geez, at the end of the season, it might only have about 25 home games left. Got to get in quick. Here we go. Select seats. We'll go to this one. Whatever it is. They've got the unavailable is... Wow, there's an awful lot unavailable here. Behind this... Okay. Are they the cheap ones? No. All the expensive ones are taken.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. The ones behind the North Stand are all taken.
Mm-hmm.
And the West Stand upper on one side are all taken.
Mm-hmm.
Or unavailable. Other than that, they're pretty much all available. So the minimum price is £20.
That's not bad, I don't think.
And the maximum price is £31. I think the maximum price is all right.
Yeah, I think the minimum price could be lower. It depends, because if I'm a Hull and I am a Hull FC fan and I'm going to a Hull FC game and I'm paying for premium tickets, premium to me means that I'm going to be able to get on the field and tear down the goalposts pretty quickly.
And also snort the sideline.
Well, no, that would be like.
Is that your £31 ticket?
Yeah.
See, I think £20 is too high for the minimum price.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
with that, actually.
you can get a ticket in Australia for your minimum ticket GA would be what, $20, is it?
Around that, yeah.
And that's going to be about what, £14?
You're going to sit behind the goalposts.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that's probably about £5-6 cheaper than what the minimum price is in Super League.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, actually.
So we'll say that the price is too high.
Okay.
We'll go with disagree there. Tickets are affordably priced for attending my club's away fixtures. Well, how's it going to be different? Do different teams charge different prices? Fuck, now we're going to have to go to another team.
We'll go to Hull KR.
I want to go to a different ground.
Okay. Yeah, Hull KR has a different ground.
Yeah, but I don't want to go to the Hull KR website.
Okay.
Don't make me do that.
That's all right. That's fine. For some reason, when you click on the Hull KR one, it takes you to the ticket dealer.
Oh, really?
Mm.
And what street corner does he stand on? Or is he just at the end of the Humber Bridge trying to get people after they've paid their toll?
Exactly.
Right, Salford.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Let's buy some away tickets for a Salford match.
Okay. Buy. Okay, this hasn't been as easy as the whole website.
Oh, really?
No.
It's always a concern when something to do with the internet is easier to do in Hull than it is where you're going.
This is good. Okay, away games. We're doing away games.
Okay.
Castleford. We're going to the Mendehoes something else jungle.
Yeah, because we had ourselves.
I reckon the whole car fans would go to the Mendehoes jungle fair bit, don't you?
Imagine
Taking a while.
Imagine living in Salford and you're thinking, I'm going to go on an away trip to Castleford. That's a hard life, that is.
You got a reason to come home.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is still loading.
Really? Well, then I say it's difficult then. Oh, we were looking at the price.
Unable to load seat map. Well, sorry, Salford, I'm not going to any of your away games. I need to know. What's another team other than Whole KR for me to check? Leeds Rhinos?
Yeah, let's do Leeds Rhinos.
Surely, I mean, they've got a bit more coin. Surely their website works well.
They got the internet in Leeds in 2007.
They're well established.
Mm.
Tickets. Buy tickets. I must say, Hull FC did have it just as a standard menu option at the very top.
Mm-hmm.
It's just questions. I don't want the questions.
What do you mean it's questions?
It's just your options to receive your away tickets from. There are no away tickets currently on sale for away games for the Leeds Rhinos.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. Let's just say it's too expensive.
Certainly too fucking complicated.
Yeah. I tell you what. Here's our thinking, right? We're Super League fans, obviously. And so, obviously, we hate other teams and we blame them for their tickets being too expensive for away games.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That was hopeless. I would like to see more international games played in rugby league.
Yes.
Strongly agree. The Challenge Cup final should be played at different venues every year.
I would strongly disagree with that. I think it should always be at Wembley.
I think it's one of those things that has to stay at Wembley.
Yeah.
The Challenge Cup should remain a pure knockout competition.
What else would it be? Of course, strongly agree. But what would they change it to?
I don't know.
That's a weird one.
An origin competition would work at men's level. Note, the origin concept between Yorkshire and Lancashire is currently played at women's and youth level.
Strongly disagree. Who gives a fuck about Yorkshire and Lancashire? It's 2022.
You can't, I mean, there's no point having an origin concept in England. What England needs to think about is we have a better idea for an origin concept that will work here, and that is England plays against Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and France in a 4-team European Cup every year, like they used to fucking do.
Yes.
Do that. Fucking hell. Sorry, they pissed me off with this stupid origin thing. You can't make it work.
They tried it, and it was a dismal failure.
Oh, this is going to be fun. You said strongly disagree on promotion relegation should remain in Super League. What factors influence your answer?
The fact that it absolutely destroys clubs? Is that a good enough answer?
It absolutely destroys clubs.
And doesn't allow the game to grow?
It denies the game a chance to grow. It denies the game from obtaining better revenue from TV.
I mean, it literally undermines the league.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
As networks are reluctant to commit, let's see, bigger sums of cash. I was trying to be fancy. Fuck it, I can't do it. Bigger sums of cash to, let's see, televise competition where the teams change every year.
Fuck, that's wordy.
It is, but you know.
Look, we're Polish.
Yeah.
Better.
I'm doing well. It's my second fucking language.
Yeah, and like we obviously speak it better than the locals do, who they just talk in vowels the whole time.
Actually, I should have just been pressing the F and the Y button a lot here.
I mean, can you imagine a Polish dude goes out of
I just looked
to
I'm saying
England,
fuck you a lot.
but a Polish dude goes to England, learns the language, and then he's Jamie Peacock talking? Like, fuck.
Hang on. I paid a lot of money to speak English.
Yeah.
How come I can't understand an Englishman? It absolutely destroys clubs. It denies the game a chance to grow. It denies the game from obtaining better revenue from TV and all that other stuff I said.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's good. I think that's a good answer.
Okay, done. Moving on. You said strongly agree on the clubs from France should participate in the Super League competitions within the UK. What factors influence your answer?
Less English clubs equal more interest.
I started with France is better.
France is better. Away games in southern France are better than away games at fucking Castleford.
Oh boy.
Just right. Just right. Have you ever been to Warrington?
Oh jeez. Yeah. Don't take the train from Hull to Liverpool and stop off at all of the stations along the way that have got Super League clubs. You'll come out. You'll finish that journey going, I'm watching soccer now.
Northern England is a cold shithole. That is the answer.
Let's see. Having games in more than one country.
It's fantastic for the game of rugby league.
To improve international rugby league. Would always be the priority. Bingo. Have you attended a Super League Magic weekend in the last 5 years?
Let's say we have.
I think I have.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw someone shuffling cards. They probably do that Magic somewhere like Brighton. If Rugby League introduced a 10+10 league structure whereby the Super League and Championship will consist of 10 teams in each league, with promotion and relegation to each league at the end of the season, how appealing would this be to you? Very unappealing.
Very, very unappealing.
That's atrocious.
That's a horrible idea.
So you're cutting Super League down by, 2, 3 teams, 4 teams, and cutting Championship down by another 4 teams. They all just go into League One. You're going to put League One's going to have like 16 to 18 teams in it.
Just a fucking putrid idea.
Yeah. If that's your idea, IMG, no. How many clubs do you think should participate in the Super League each season?
That's a good question. I would say, I'm going to say 14. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm fine with 14.
Okay.
I don't think it should be less than 14.
Yeah.
I was looking at it and I was thinking 14, 16, I'm going, 14. Would you get behind a regional city-based competition incorporated into Rugby League's calendar, similar to cricket's 100 with men's and women's competitions? Yes, no, don't know. I need more info.
Now that's a really interesting question because what they're thinking here is what we've got is fucking broken. So what if we just created a brand new competition where we made up teams in random places? That's really interesting, that one.
I see. So they're relocating the current clubs to...
No. What they're saying is we just set aside what we've got, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we make a brand new competition where we just have random... We make up teams like they do in cricket.
I see.
Yeah, and then they might even have a quasi-player draft where they chuck the players everywhere around the competition.
I get you.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's just completely made up. Kind of like the A-League in soccer in Australia when it first started up, where they wipe everything away. That's an interesting question.
I think Mm. I'm torn. I don't mind the idea, but at the same time, I don't think English Super League needs more games added to its calendar.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. My guess is that they would look at something like that as maybe a knockout competition, hey? Because it
Yeah,
couldn't be a long competition.
yeah. Should I go with don't know, I need more info?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
If there was a short format competition incorporated into the annual calendar, should it be 7-a-side or 9-a-side or none of the above?
Well, it should be 9-a-side, shouldn't it?
Or it could just be none of the above.
I would.
What's the point of having a short format comp? They already play like they're playing 9-a-side anyway, with their defence being as tattered as it is.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, St. Helens already play with James Roby on the team. That's like playing with 12.
There you go. So to me, I don't know. I don't see the value in this. They've already got a massively long season, and twice every year, they've got this period where they've got to play essentially 3 rounds in 2 weeks, which is fucking nuts. And that's just in the Premiership season, the Super League season. When you throw in the fact they've got Challenge Cup on top of that, and if it's Championship, they've got the 1895 Cup. Chuck all that in there as well. And one of those periods where they've got to do 3 rounds in 2 weeks is just they're about to start it now, just before the final start.
It's
nuts.
It's a lot of football. But if I'm IMG, I'm looking at what I've bought, and I know what I've bought doesn't make money, and I need to do something different, right? And I can see where they would say, well, what if we do a 9 circuit in the off season? We make up teams in random places. So, like,
there's an idea. Combine the last 2 questions together.
Yeah, and that might be where they're going with it. Now that look like for you and me, just say Super League over the course, just say in English Rugby League over the off season in their winter they had a 9 circuit where they made up a team from London, team from Cardiff, team from Edinburgh, all these teams from all over the place, right?
Yep.
Let's just say they have a 16-team competition. So you could have 2 pools of 8, right? Yep. It's a 9s competition. So you're not going to need that many players on an overall squad. You have a player draft in it, right? You don't have to be part of the player draft if you don't want to. They might even allow it to open up to international players. So we could see players from the NRL go over if they wanted to.
I think that'd be a good idea. Open it up to everybody in the country, in the world who wants to play rugby league.
Yeah.
And
then all of a sudden you've got a new thing you can sell to TV. You do it over winter. And look, if it catches on and it's really successful and so many people start watching it, what is it a big leap to go from fucking 9 to 13 players, really?
Well, it's not. But the problem you're going to get, though, is the similar thing that the rugby union currently has, because they play 7s, is because, obviously with 7s, it's basically, it's their way of saying we want to play rugby league, but we're not going to say it. It's a completely different style of football to rugby union that's 15-a-side. And so you get these 7 specific type players. And we've had the same thing happen in cricket. We've got T20 specific cricketers.
But that's fine, right? Because what you find is like 9s is pretty good to watch. Like 9s is closer to rugby league than say 7s is to rugby league, and definitely 7s to rugby union is almost 2 different sports, right?
Yeah, they are.
But if you ended up with players that were 9s specialists, that's all right. Like there's nothing wrong with that. The thing I would worry about is that it is like rugby union 7s, where who fucking cares about rugby union 7s? Like no one. I know that they've got this world fucking circuit, but people in rugby union don't even give a fuck about rugby union 7s.
And that's the problem, is selling it.
Yeah, but if it works, right? If they made this competition, played it in winter, and it worked, and it caught on for whatever reason, who knows why these things catch on? But if it caught on, I can see where IMG's looking at it and saying, we've got to make something new here. Now, what's the appetite for something new?
All right, so are you saying 7 aside, 9 aside, or none of the above?
Well, I would say 9 aside. I think
All right.
7s is too much Mickey Mouse. I think 9s, you've got some structure there.
Yep. All right, we'll go with 9 aside.
Okay.
Oh, this one's an open-ended question.
Okay.
Is there anything else you think is important to consider for the future of rugby league in UK and France?
The scrapping of promotion and relegation is a must.
Agreed.
And big broadcasting markets need relevant local content and therefore Super League clubs of their own.
Broadcasting markets need, what was it?
Relevant local content and therefore Super League clubs of their own.
Anything else? Let's go with the bring back an annual European Cup between England, France, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Bring back? How about introduce? I don't think they really had one.
Anything else? I think that's pretty good.
About something about Canada? Should we try and get the Wolfpack back involved in the conversation?
Bring back the Toronto Wolfpack. Yeah, why not? And probably one last thing I would add is can we have subtitles anytime Jamie Peacock has to say something on television?
Oh, actually, I was going to say something even better. Stop getting sponsorships for free.
Yeah. Yeah. I bet IMG will not be doing that.
Stop with the free sponsorship deals.
IMG goes into the meeting and there's pizza everywhere. They're like, what's with the pizza? And it's like, oh yeah, we did a deal. We get free pizza. Would you like some Papa John's?
Papa John's pizzas are atrocious. What's that stupid tuna? This does not belong on a pizza.
Try our new onion and mayo pizza.
And even if it did, it wouldn't be with corn.
Yeah. Pizza with corn on it.
Tuna and corn.
Tuna and corn.
Jesus Christ. That's horrible.
Wouldn't feed it to a cat.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
We thank you for your time spent taking this survey. Your response has been recorded. Follow the finale of the 2022 season across all leagues via our social media channels.
Fuck that.
So how long did our 15 minutes take? 48.
Well, there you go.
Solid.
Look, I think considering we're a couple of Polish dudes living in Wales, watching the sheep run just slightly quicker than the farmers, riding around in lorries in our spare time while we go to Super League matches. I think we did well.
We did well.
Yeah.
Now, there was a tiny little bit of Super League news. It's not really news. I think it's something that's popped up. It's been rearing its head for a while, and that is the workload that the players do. And I touched on it before with the double headers. I think there was talk that one of the clubs has got to play 3 games in 10 days coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got their finals. And then I also saw that Bradford has agreed to do play a warm-up game against one of the teams that are going to be in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So they're even doing that. One of the commentators asked the question, are we burning out our players for the World Cup before it even starts? And the answer is yes.
Did he ask that question in 2001? They've been doing it for years and years.
So I had this thought. I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to have a look at the players who have played the most games in England, just at Super League level or England, at club level?
Yeah,
because I think it might include Challenge Cup games as well,
Mm-hmm.
and compare it with the 300 club for NRL players in Australia.
Yeah.
So to put this in perspective, the 300 club in Australia is from 1908, and the list I'm looking at here from Super League is from 1996 onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So already you're getting a picture here. How many players? How many players do you reckon would make the top 10 for games played from the NRL into the Super League list?
Okay, so so from the 300 club in the NRL, how many of them would make Super League's top 10 of 300 plus?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 4.
One. Cameron Smith.
Yeah.
And he would come in at 9th.
Whoa. So he's
Hang
got
on.
what was it, 400?
No, sorry, he'd come in at 8. Sorry, I thought he had 420 games. He had 430. So he'll come in at equal 7th.
Okay, so what are the top 10 just Super League appearances?
Okay, James Roby's at 464 games.
Yeah.
Sinfield 454. Andy Lynch 452. Paul Wellens 439. Jamie Peacock 438. Leon Price 432. Ben Westwood 430. That's the same as Cameron Smith. Rob Burrow 429. Danny Tickle 419. Keith Senior 413. That's the top 10. There's 4 more who made 400.
Yeah.
Cooper Cronk is second on the list. He had 370. He would drop in at 21st on this list.
Wow.
They've got 26 players who have played 350 games or more. We've got 4. We've got 4.
Yeah, that's why I said 4, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Cameron Smith, Cooper Cronk, Darren Lockyer, and Terry Lamb.
Yeah. I think the problem is that because it's started to be just geared towards Super League clubs, and Super League clubs were like, well, the only way we make money is if we play so many games. And they do have a culture over there of playing a lot more games and always have. Like, we've talked about this, how you go back a certain number of years and they were playing like ridiculous amounts of games.
Yeah, but admittedly back then, especially when we're looking at the pre-Super League days,
yeah,
the championship, the top division there, would have close to 16, 18 teams in it, and they'd play each other twice.
Mm.
That'd be it, but they'd also have Challenge Cup games and finals, stuff like that. They'd end up racking up 30 games every year comfortably, while in the New South Wales Rugby League at the time was doing 22 games and you'd have a 5-game final series. So they'd play 25 games if they played every game. So it doesn't seem like much, but it does make a difference when you consider that, especially at the time, they were playing it during our summer, and a lot of those players would come over here and play over here as well.
Yeah, and look, they've got advantages that we don't have. We simply cannot play in summer. It's impossible.
Yeah, that's right.
That they play their season during summer, and their traditional season is actually winter. So that they can have a longer season if they want to. And I think that the problem is they don't take advantage of it. So the thing I would do if I was running English Rugby League is I would have probably ideally around about a 22-game season, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in there I would have internationals. I would have a lot of international games because it's very easy for them to play international games. They control all of those international players, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, all that. Yep. They can play France very easily. You can have a European competition very, very easily, and it breaks things up. Then you've got the Challenge Cup, which I think that I would also do something with that in terms of I would probably move that a little bit earlier in the season. And then towards the end of it, I would invite an NRL team into it right near the end to try and get something different into it,
Yeah, look, I don't mind the Challenge Cup's existence. I'm just storing. I don't mind having those things still hanging around, especially when it still works as far as a financial thing. You still see it still gets massive crowds for the final there. Sometimes it's getting crowds the same size, if not bigger, than the Super League Grand Final.
Yeah, and look, you and me, like you and me still are interested in the Challenge Cup final. We'll still take interest in that game.
Yeah. It's fascinating. It's got a lot of magnificent history behind it. So I've got no issue with it whatsoever and happy for it to stay there. But I think they need to start looking at reducing the regular season. If they're going to have 12 teams, then 22 rounds is the maximum they need. You shouldn't be playing another team 3 times before the finals. That's just nonsense.
Yeah, it really is. It's silly.
I know I've said it before, but it's basic economics. If you flood the market with something, hang on, got a spam call. Hello? 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 Crypto. Oh, I've got a mate who's big on crypto. He loves it.
Buy all of it. Give them your details.
What are you telling me, man? Did you know? No, mate. Mate. Stop. Let me talk. Yeah? Crypto is a Ponzi scheme. You know what Ponzi is?
Wait a minute.
No? Go look it up. Fuck off.
Dude, I have my credit card out to give you my details.
Save it, mate. Save it. I've got some solar panels coming up soon.
Fuck.
Solar, mate. It's the new Ponzi. Don't worry about it. It's good.
Damn it.
Before I was rudely interrupted.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine with the Challenge Cup. I think they need to cut down the regular season. Yeah, if you flood the market with too many games, you devalue with the actual games.
Yeah.
And people will stop going. So you need to make it an event that, people don't want to miss out on. If you cut down the number of games there is, you're going to create a bit of that feeling. Instead of really giving fans, 14, 15 home games to attend, give them 10 or 11. Doesn't hurt too much, but it makes them go, shit, it's a bit more of experience now. We've got less of them. We've got to make sure we put a bit more focus on it this time. It's enough to draw them in just that little bit more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can keep the season the same length, take a lot of the pressure off both the players on the field and the clubs so that they don't have to have as huge a squads, which then means they don't have to spend as much money on players, which means they're going to be financially stronger. It works out better in every possible way.
I also think that by reducing all of those things and if they are looking at having something over the off-season, and obviously something over the off-season would be not every player has to take part. Like I could see where veteran play. It'd be the same thing as our Rugby League Nines when we used to have it over here, where you'd see veteran players would take a pass on it, or really important players would say it wasn't worth them possibly getting injured playing Nines footy.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like if you're putting on a good day, it's a lot of fun. I tell you what, I went to the Rugby League Nines World Cup both days and thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that Rugby League Nines would be something that would be fun if they did something with it. But I would only be behind it, even in Australia, and I don't think you can't do it. You just can't play footy in summer over here, unfortunately.
No, but if they had a Nines in the English winter, which is our summer here, you could put it on summer TV here.
Yes.
Play it in winter over there.
Yeah, and look, you could have your weekend in London, a weekend in Cardiff, a weekend in, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Dublin. Like if they just did that, it's not even like it's a shitload more football for your Nines players. Give some youngsters a run. You can invite some. Apart from having your new made up teams, you can invite some weird teams in. And just have some fun with it and give people something different. I know you and me would love to have something like that to watch in winter or during our summer, their winter.
Absolutely.
It'd be cool. It'd be really cool. But it'd have to be new entities.
Yeah. And they'd all have to be, it'd have to be kind of like the way the IPL works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe they can link up with the IPL as a way of trying to figure out how it would work, the logistics of it all. Because They've made it work. So there's merit to that idea. I don't mind that at all. And it serves as a trial type thing. It's entertaining. It can get some eyes on the game.
And you can have rules for the makeup of the sides. Like you can't have, you can only have, say, just off the top of my head, like you can only have 4 players that have played more than 200 games, first grade games or Super League games, I should say. Just things like that, so that you do encourage, some of the younger talent to come into it.
I'd probably go more along the lines of you must have at least one person, one player between the ages of, say, 16 and 20. And one player has to come from a completely different country to all the rest of the team, or just make it up as you go along. It doesn't matter how it goes.
Yeah.
But you're trying to mix it up a bit and try and make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, and now the thing that people are going to say, because as we've talked about it, you and me are completely against a draft in the NRL.
Yeah, for main premierships, absolutely. When we're talking about the players' bread and butter.
Yes.
Definitely against it. It's not workable, it's not feasible. But when we're talking about a fun knockout thing that could be a supplementary income for a few weeks, that's a different matter.
Yeah.
Especially
and it's not like
if the players choose to go into it, and they do, that's a completely different beast.
Yeah, it's a promotional competition. It's not like any of the teams are developing Nines rugby league players. It's a promotional event, it's an exhibition rounds of games,
Yeah.
These teams are made up from nowhere, they're representing new regions, new cities, however they decide to do it. And we're guessing this, but it just seems like those 2 questions, of all the questions I asked, those were the 2 that jumped out at me. Were there any that jumped out at you?
No, that was pretty much the one. I think the other one too was I was actually quite pleased to see that they asked about promotion and relegation.
Yeah.
Because to me, the fact they asked the question suggests that they see that as a problem themselves.
Yes.
And I think the only reason why people genuinely want it is tradition and tradition only.
Well, it's the fantasy, and I've talked to people about this in England, and it's this fantasy of, well, my local team can rise up through the ranks and be a Super League team one day, and it's just a fantasy. And they talk about, well, what's the use of playing or having a club if they can never be in the top grade? And it's like, well, there's many, many reasons for it, like enjoying playing rugby league in your local area and stuff. And I used to use the St Mary's Saints, who are a team in Western Sydney, as an example. The St Mary's Saints are a local A-grade team. They've never been close to being an NRL club. They'll never be an NRL club. And yet they have had some of the best players in the world come through their ranks. They've produced some of the best players of all time. And that's fine. That's their place. And they're a super strong club at that level. And that's great. If you ask them to extend themselves further than that, they would be a weak team. They would be one of the weak clubs.
Yeah.
There are different levels to our sport, and it's okay to be, there's strong clubs at every level. And I just think that why weaken something that is strong and doing a really good job at what it's doing, Well,
that's right. And that's what England's constantly doing with its Super League competition more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, the concept when it was first brought up was not a bad one. Let's try and get the best of the best. The problem is that they've got to stop trying to compete structure-wise with soccer. It's not going to work. You can't have promotion and relegation. It might work in soccer, and it's even arguable that it does work in soccer. But they've got fuckloads more money than rugby league will ever have. So if it doesn't work, they can fund it and fix it to make sure everything still stays fine. They can work around it. Super League doesn't have that. They can't sit there and think that they can just look after these clubs whenever something goes bad, because A, they can't, and B, they don't.
And you look at, what was it? The Cowboys won the wooden spoon last year, right?
Yep.
They're in second place this year. And they were able to do that because they could build a squad. They could give a coach. They could give him guarantee that he would be at the club and a first grade coach. They could tell all of their current players that they had, no, we're not being relegated. We're looking towards next year where we'll build. They could bring in, free agent signings from elsewhere in the competition. They could build something, even though they were in last place. In Super League, when you're in last place, you have to literally take it apart. And then we wonder why the game isn't growing over there. It's like every single season we ask one club to rip itself to shreds.
Yeah, and for what?
Yeah, exactly.
You think about it, we were only, in 2018, we're probably about the closest we've been to seeing a powerhouse team getting close to relegation. That was Leeds. They only finished the season with 5 wins more than the last place side. And when you're playing 23 premiership games, it's not much. And given that 8 of those 12 teams made the finals and Leeds didn't, what happens if someone like Leeds or Wigan or St Helens has one bad season and boom, they're relegated? What's that going to do to A, the game, and B, the clubs?
And look, we saw what happened when Bradford fell apart financially, right? Now, Bradford were pushing themselves too far financially and it fell apart on them. They had no one to blame but themselves. If the fantasy was correct, then Bradford would have come roaring back, and it didn't happen.
No.
It didn't happen.
They just kept going into administration over and over and over again.
Yeah, and you look at what Toulouse have done. I mean, we've got 2 French Super League clubs right now.
Yep.
Like, it's
amazing. For a few more weeks.
But the thing is, like, right now we've got something amazing happening. 2 French Super League clubs. It's not fiction. It's real. Why would we look to ruin that?
I don't know. And the thing that gets me is it's not just ruining that in Super League. I mean, what damage is this going to do to Toulouse? They've worked so hard for so many years to get here, and they get here, and it's just like, bam, we're going to ruin you financially, and you're going to go back to fucking championship. Fuck off.
One season, yeah. You got one season.
A horrible system. I'd like to know when, I'd have to go through it myself and check, but when was the last time a team got promoted and didn't get relegated within 2 years afterwards?
When was the last? Well, I mean, I would love to know what the time frame was for the last team that got promoted and then won the competition, the top grade competition in England.
Yeah.
It's probably happened at some point over the course of 120 plus years, but I bet it hasn't happened in many, many, many decades.
Well, it hasn't happened in the last 2-3 decades because we've only had 4 different, four or five different premiership winners in that time.
Yeah. So
since 1990 or 1989, or it was.
I mean, my guess is, I don't know. It wouldn't be in our lifetimes. So
no. And that shows you more than anything just how bad the system is and how it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so the whole concept of, we're going to come up and we're going to do it from the lower grades, we're going to go all the way, it's a complete fallacy.
Yeah. And look, I can see where it works at the amateur levels, but that step between the amateur levels and then like semi-professional and then Super League is it's huge. It's too big.
The jump from amateur to semi-pro is massive, and the jump from semi-pro to pro is just as big.
Yeah. It's
insane. The whole concept of promotion relegation, we've spoken it to death. It's just, there's nothing positive about it. I don't care what any Englishman tells me about it. It is detrimental to the game, to the clubs, and to the players, and no one wins out of it. No one.
100%. 100%. And look, at the end of the day, if you said, what is the goal? What is it down the track, in the ideal scenario of Super League, you can wave the magic wand and turn Super League into what you want it to be one day. And surely it's like a 24-team competition with a handful of clubs from France, a bunch of clubs in England, clubs in Spain, Germany, like
Yeah.
Ireland, Scott. Isn't that the goal?
A
Well,
genuine Euro Super League. You could have, like, as you said, 20 teams in there. And the one thing that makes it absolutely exciting is that it's the same teams every year. That you can build a genuine fan base who are going to sit there and follow it every year. Because as soon as a team gets relegated, the majority of their fans switch off the TV.
They go. Yeah, they disappear. And look, if having Toulouse in there right now is one step in that right direction, why would you ever take one step back by relegating them?
I don't know. It makes sense because you're losing them for, not just next year, but they've got to go and rebuild and build up the finances and go and recruit more players, yada, yada, yada. And then they get back up and then they go back down. And then it goes all over again. It just costs so much money and time. And eventually those teams that are all hanging around the top of Championship, bottom of Super League, they just run themselves broke getting promoted and relegated all the time.
Well, they run themselves broke trying to compete to get into Super League. And we've seen that a lot where, the teams will be there or thereabouts. I mean, remember, I think it was Lee Centurions where they lost the game to go to Super League and immediately, like, I think it was Lee, where they lost the game and then they were like, oh, we're broke. You know?
Yeah.
It's such a bad system. Such a bad system.
It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Hateful system too.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy how many games they play over there, especially when you consider that they've got less teams in the comp, so less reason to play all those extra games. And yet you've got so many guys out there playing huge volumes of games and stuff like that. It's absolutely nuts. So it does sound like though they've got a players union set up there. I didn't know they had, but they've got one set up over there.
Do they?
Yeah. It seems to be basically player run. So
okay, because I
don't know too much about it.
Yeah, when they've talked about it before in the past, and I don't know about recently, but in the past, they were way, way worse than the NRL players at their worst.
It doesn't seem as anywhere near as well organised as it should be.
Yeah.
I think the reason being it's pretty hard for them because so many of the things that rugby league players in Australia get as stock standard, as in, you will get paid. And this is not me being facetious. Like that is a big issue over in England. It is very easy. One of the issues is promotion relegation. Very easy for a player to not get paid out their contract, and the club just goes, well, we're bankrupt now. We're folding. Sorry, you don't get any money.
Yeah.
And especially for players who have come from the Southern Hemisphere to go to England to play on those contracts, and a lot of them are on hefty contracts. They've had to lug their family over there and move their whole life overseas, and then all of a sudden, they're stuck.
Well, and look, I'm no fan of his, but really good example. Sonny Bill Williams was given a $5 million contract.
Yeah.
He didn't get anywhere close to that $5 million contract.
I'd be surprised if he got one of them.
Yeah, so it's there's so many different things they've got to work out over there, but hopefully IMG. The thing I worry about is like anybody that comes into rugby league, especially in the UK, is that has money, has backing, and wants to do something in the sport over there, is that they survey the land and they look at who are the people that everyone over there listens to, and they get them on as consultants. And those people generally don't know what the fuck they are talking about, and they waste people's money. They waste their time. So the people that are investing get nothing out of it, and then those people leave. Yeah. And we've seen that happen time and time again, and I just hope that doesn't happen again.
Another issue too, I guess, is they find it hard to go against the tide out there.
Yeah.
Of people not wanting to change from what they currently have all the time. But it's about time English Rugby League, they're going to have to ignore a lot of what the fans have demanded of what they wanted in the past and just go, you know what, this thing needs a revamp like you've never seen before, and it needs to happen now. And they need to have the balls to A, say it, and B, do it. And hopefully, if they can do both of those and get a genuine televised audience and build a good television market, that's a success.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason why they can't either.
No, there's not. There are opportunities there, and I hope they take those opportunities and they can move the game forward, because rugby league in the UK has been dying for a very long time now, for decades. And, if something like this doesn't work,
Nothing will.
I just think it all slides into semi-professionalism.
Yeah, nothing will.
Yeah.
They'll just eventually merge in with the lower grades in the NRL.
Well, I think what would happen is that they'd slide into semi-professionalism, and it would almost become like a training, some sort of training system and farm system for rugby union over there, where it's a different form of rugby you played growing up, and then when you get anywhere at all as a young player that's got some talent, then you go into rugby union. And yeah. I think that's the way it would go.
Yeah, and it would be seamless.
Yeah.
They do it so quickly and easily.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing that would happen is, if it went that way, the Rugby Football Union would buy a couple of the clubs, the Super League clubs, and maybe start up teams.
Yeah,
just use their badges, basically.
Basically, yeah. It's not like that hasn't happened before over there.
Yeah.
Now, bugger it, while we're here, we've got an email.
Yeah, we've got an email from one of our long-time listeners. It's Kuji. Thanks for listening, Kuji. It says, from Bronco, soon-to-be Dolphin, and the subject is grand final venue. And he says, hi, fellas. Love you guys. You're the best. I agree with everything you said so far, hey?
This is a good email. Got any others?
Yeah. He said, just an idea I had to be, and be curious to hear your thoughts on it. I'm sure it must be an obvious flaw I'm missing or something. Someone would have thought about it, he says. What if the grand final was offered for a fee to the state, territory, or country where the minor premiers, assuming they make the grand final, come from? A home game advantage would surely be a more fitting reward for the team that makes the minor premiership than the pissy amount of money they get. If the minor premiers don't make the grand final, it could fall to the second highest points holder or the third highest, etc. Love to hear your thoughts on this. I always feel sorry for the minor premiers for the shit deal they get. And he says, it's not as if I would know firsthand, as someone who has only become a Broncos fan in 2017. Cheers.
Yet he's been a Broncos fan since 2017, yet he's already seen more finals series than I've seen in my club playing since 2011.
Yes. I'm sorry for laughing, but it's funny. Oh, shit.
Yeah, and they've even had a wooden spoon in that period. They've done a fucking rebuild in that period.
They were really bad,
rebuild.
And they rebuilt.
My side still hasn't even started their rebuild. They're still in the process of sacking coaches. That's step one.
# new era. Oh man,
I see where you're going with the idea. I'd rather I'd say no to it, because I think what should be done with the grand final is the NRL goes out to all of the states and say, right, we've got this massive fucking grand final. It's going to make an absolute shit ton of money. Who's going to pay the most for it? And say, right, first requirement is you need to have at least 60,000 seats in your stadium. That's your minimum requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So, bam, you've got 3 states left fighting for it. Or 4 states left fighting for it. That's Perth, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne.
I don't think Brisbane doesn't have a 60,000 seater though.
Well, Suncorp's close enough.
Yeah.
55, isn't it?
Look, I think COVID changed a lot in terms of how we look at venues, how we look at moving games, how we look at moving big games. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where they would have, say, the major semi-finals at, say, the SFS and then one at the Olympic Stadium at Homebush. And it would have made sense to switch the venues around for the teams that were taking part in them. And they'd say, well, we we can't possibly do that, you know. And then COVID comes along, and it turns out, well, you know what? We can move absolutely the entire competition on a week's notice if we have to. So all bets are off in terms of venues being locked in. We can move anything, anywhere within the space of a week.
Yeah.
They even did it with a State of Origin game, right?
Absolutely. So
with that in mind, and the seal has been broken on the grand final, played it last year in Brisbane.
Yep.
I always go back to, I remember listening to Gordon Tallis, and he was still playing for the Broncos at the time, and they were talking about playing the semi-finals in Sydney. And that was when we did play the major semi-finals in Sydney no matter what, or who was involved in it. And he said, look, even as an out-of-town team, as a Queenslander and as a Broncos player, we look forward to playing at the Sydney Football Stadium, because to us, we grew up watching the big games played at those venues, and to us, going to Sydney to play the big games is as much about being in those big games as all of the other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I can see where having the tradition of playing the grand final in Sydney is something that is there to be kept, and have that part of history go forward. I think that maybe the ideal scenario is if you play, you know, over the course of 10 years, you maybe have two of the grand finals move, you know, so you over 10 years, you've played one grand final in Brisbane, you've maybe played one grand final in Melbourne or Perth, and then the other 8 of them were still in Sydney. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Yeah, look, I'm open to that. I think it should definitely be something, though, that is done as a means of trying to get a bit of extra cash. Like, you wouldn't do it on the cheap.
No.
You're doing it purely to make money out of it.
Yeah.
I suppose also it's got to be, you know, a grand final shouldn't be used for promotional tactics, but if it's going to go into state, then fucking oath you need to be promoting the absolute hell out of it. You need to make sure you're getting everybody's money out of that. So yeah, I'm not opposed to the idea of it going to other states.
Yeah. Look, I think when we all watched the grand final last year being played in Brisbane and the sky didn't fall in, and I know as a Panthers fan, I mean, you go and listen to the podcast we did as soon as the grand final finished last year, and listen to my excitement, and I didn't feel like I lost anything. I think things have changed, considering that now, because the game finishes like at about 10:30 on grand final night, it's not like when it was in the afternoon and it was finished by about 6 p.m. and everyone in Sydney would go to the local leagues club, when, you know, that sort of thing is just so different now. The dynamic's different, that it's just not the same as it used to be in that sense. So, you know, you're not thinking about that trip. I mean, anyone that's going to the leagues clubs after, you know, 10:30 at night, if you get into it, you know, you're just going to just run around being crazy, which I get, but that all still happened even though the Panthers were up in Brisbane when they won. So even Dane Laurie enjoyed it.
I still can't believe the furor over that. Some people were so adamant that he should have been sacked or something over. It's like, he just wore another jumper. I mean, probably not a good look, but fucking hell, settle down, people.
I just think like that's a dude, when you look at how happy he was, you know, it's hard to explain what it's like to people that's team hasn't won a grand final. Like, what do you feel? It's really hard to explain it. But I think that picture of him, even though he plays for another club, like he grew up as a Panthers fan and all that, played for the club, and you can see how happy he was. To me, it's kind of an iconic picture in a funny way, that this is a guy that's a professional, you know, he's a professional footballer, and yet here he is just like the rest of us, just loving what he saw. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yes, I take it we've answered that one.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about offering it to the state of the minor premiers. You know, I do think that for the most part it should be in Sydney, but I don't mind seeing it go elsewhere every so often, I guess.
I think the way to make the system work better for the minor premier is to have an odd number of teams in the finals. So even if it's 7,
Yeah.
you can give the minor premier a week off in the first week.
Yeah.
And still give them a second chance as well at the same time. But it only applies to first place. So at the moment with the finals, the top 4 will get a second chance.
Yeah.
Minor premiers don't really get much out of that. But if you had an odd number of teams, they can have a bye in the first week of the finals and get a second chance if they lose first up. I think if you made that something that's exclusively for first place, that's something a little bit more worthwhile chasing. That gives you a little bit more of an incentive to be first and a little bit more of it does give you a genuine advantage, whether it be home ground or not, to be able to rest all your players for a week while everyone else is bashing themselves and then get a second chance when you come back in. How much more can you give a team without being, too much more over the top than that?
Yeah, I agree. And look, with the Panthers winning the minor premiership this year, I would love for them to have that first week off while everyone bashes each other.
Yeah.
And then to have a second chance after that. I wonder how it would affect a team's form if you have the week off, win your first game, and then have another game off. But it's a nice problem to have.
It is. I think maybe you can have an opposed session. Maybe play some 9s in the week off.
Yeah, well, the teams would work that out. I think that you look at a team like the Storm, like they kind of worked out really well how to continually have that week off and it not affect your form.
That's right.
And I don't know what they do, but I think that they were the first team to really lock that down where it didn't become a problem for them.
Yeah. That's probably a workaround. Now, hey, I've got some stats here. I just saw in an email that I received earlier.
Okay, hit me with them.
Rugby League World Cup stats.
Ooh, nice.
It was announced last week that over 250,000 tickets have already been sold.
Brilliant.
It says here that the £45 tickets for the men's and women's finals at Manchester have been sold out.
Well, that's pretty good value.
The £60 tickets are 85% sold.
Okay.
The £25 tickets for England versus France sold out. The £35 tickets are 90% sold. The Australia v Fiji game, those tickets are 90 to 98% sold. The opening game between England and Samoa, though, you can still buy those £30 each. It doesn't tell you how many of those are sold.
Okay. That's in a pretty big stadium, I think. I think that might be at Newcastle Stadium.
That's at Newcastle, yeah.
Yeah.
England v France is at Bolton.
I think Bolton's about 26,000 from memory.
Yeah. And the finals are at Manchester. Australia plays Fiji at Leeds. And furthermore, 50 days till kickoff.
Yeah, it's weird to think that, like, I was looking at the things and it was saying how it starts in, like, mid-October. Like, it's pretty close now. I actually started thinking about how much work you and me have to do.
There's a bit there.
There's quite a bit. We're going to be podcasting our asses off during the World Cup.
Oh, yes.
So much football. It's going to be great.
Now, also, with there being 50 days left, 7 more weeks, that means there'll be about 10 more rounds of Super League, the Super 8's finals tournament, a best-of-7 final series over in England, as well as 2 warm-up games each. So pretty standard run into the World Cup for the English.
Yeah. 50 days, 50 games.
Yeah, for everybody.
It's going to be cool, though. Look, when it comes to the number of tickets sold and all that stuff that you get out of English Rugby League officials, I just go on history and I'll believe it when I see it. I hope that I see it. I really do. But
I looked at the NRL, probably sold about 4 to 5 billion tickets.
Well, I just think it wasn't that many months ago where they were talking about the game that they played against that made-up team, the Combined Nations All-Stars. They were saying, it's probably going to be a sellout, and then you turn on the game, and in a small stadium, there was a very small crowd for that small stadium. So
announce how many people attended that game?
I don't know.
Probably not.
There-
They're good at not releasing crowd numbers.
I think you and me saw that and I think we were like 6,000 maybe, just eyeballing it.
I was looking at it going, looks like a big day in New South Wales Cup at Henson Park.
Yeah, well, 100%. Very small. But I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to tickets sold, because English Rugby League officials tend to lie about a lot of things. And anybody that has an issue with that, just, we're in profit before a ball is kicked in 2000. Look what that fucking turned into. So, tell your fucking story walking.
I mean, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, look, it makes me angry because it's there's been too many times where it's, the lies are for no one. The lies are for nobody. Nobody profits from it. Nobody gets anything out of it. And then you get to the end and you're like, well, what were all those promises you made? And the people just disappear. They're not even there to ask the questions of. So
there was a deal in place. If you get 20,000 people to the game, we'll give you a brand new vending machine, fully stocked. They go, 20,500 turned up. Quick, somebody get the vending machine in before they find out.
Seriously, I'd say, yeah, I'll wait until it's all over. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. That seems fair.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of all over.
Yes.
Looks like this episode is.
Let me look. Yeah, we're getting to the end of the tape.
Yeah. It's starting to make that noise when it's getting near the end of the tape.
It is, yeah. Eventually it'll just go to a fuzzy thing and then we'll just end it.
Yeah. There's a reference for all the 40-plus-year-olds out there. Okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on the socials on Instagram and Twitter at Fergo Freak Pod. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace. Check us out on all of those. We've got a history episode coming up. I swear I've actually done all the groundwork. It's ready to go. I've just got a little bit of tweaking here and there, but it's ready to go. We're going to record it in the next few days.
Yeah, we have a full-time rugby league historian here at Fergo and the Freak. I won't lie, he or she has been very fucking lazy over the last 18 months. Putting their feet up is my understanding and just cruising through life. But they've actually done some fucking work.
Yeah, I'd say lazy's putting it mildly.
Oh, shit. No, good.
Lazy sort of suggested there's been thoughts of doing history episodes. I don't think this lazy prick has thought about doing any for ages. But we've prodded him with a stick and we've woken him up. He looks like he's keen now.
I tell you what, the story you have found, I can't wait to hear it. It is amazing. I can't even talk about what we were looking up the other night because I don't want to give a shred of it away, but I think it's the most random shit we've ever looked up while you've been telling me the story. And I was like, hey, can you find that and stuff? And you actually found some shit. And it was just, we went onto a deep dive through shreds of information that quite honestly is probably a little bit disturbing.
It could be. I mean, I think the most disturbing part was the fact that we ended up looking at barges stuck in the Suez and Panama canals.
Yeah, we did.
That was a tangent.
Yeah. Yeah,
Whoops.
we did. When you start looking up when the Panama Canal was opened, you're doing some deep dive in rugby league stuff.
That's right. And, I've got to try and find a way of skewing that into the piece somehow. I don't know how or whether I will. But there you go. We just sort of got a bit lost on that tangent.
We did. It was fun, though.
As happens. But yes, we'll be getting to that very soon. There's a few more history ones lined up that I've got to finish off as well. So getting back on that bike again, which is good. And I suppose that pretty much wraps us up.
Yes, thank you to everyone for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. We had fun doing this one.
And don't tell anyone that we answered the survey.
Yeah, look, keep it quiet. All right,
just on the quiet.
Don't tell anyone at IMG. It's just between us.
Yeah. And if you do go and do the survey, put all the same answers as us because we actually gave all the right answers. And you'll see an improved game. That's what we do.
It'll be great. I can't wait to see the fucking Essex
Eels. Essex Eels.
I've had to really censor myself just then. Okay.
Yeah.
But I just can't wait to see all of these new teams made up. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll get Bradford will be back.
Yeah, they bring in a Bradford Bulls. Can you imagine a Bradford Bulls?
Yeah, they'll bring in like a team from Lee. It's going to be great. The expansion is going to be amazing.
They could call them the Lee Rhinos.
There's an idea. Because there's so many rhinos in that part of the world.
The Castleford Wild Tiger Cats.
The Castleford Mended Hoses. Oh, well, on that note, thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we'll catch you all next time.
Palmerbet with the big don't argue. Punters will love that. Download our app today and enjoy tackle-busting benefits with great odds, more markets, and same-game multi every NRL match at Palmerbet. Gamble responsibly. For Gamblers' Help, call 1-800-858-858.